So you've done the self-help and you've dipped into some personal development, but now you ask the question, now what? What can you do? Well, if you want to escape the apathy, step right this way. So twice a year, I teach a course called AUTONOMY. It's a 12-week personal development and training course. What people get out of it is multifaceted. There's curriculum, there's exercises, there's camaraderie, you make new friends. There's a whole lot of interesting things. We're going to hear a sample from the course right now, and let's take a look at the value these students are getting.
I had a thought when I was listening to your presentation.
Yes.
There was the point where you said like the microchips will come into like our brains one day in the future.
I know that sounds far out, right?
Yeah, I
All
think
right,
it's close.
let's dig into it and make it not so scary.
I was thinking that you wouldn't even know if what your thought would be, if it was your thought or the microchip thought that you're trying to put in your brain.
Right. So there's so let's look at the positive sides, right? 20 years ago or so, they started developing little electronics that they could put in your head and they could help you hear. They're called cochlear implants. And so now they were able to take children who otherwise couldn't hear and they can give them a beautiful life and they can hear music. And I used to work with a buddy of mine, and his child was going through those kind of experimental trials to see if it would work. And I respect all that. I respect the use of technology to help overcome some of our ignorance of how biology works and how to heal ourselves. However, when Klaus Schwab is writing in the appendix of his book, The Fourth Industrial Revolution, which he published in like 2016, 2017, and he's like, by 2025, they're going to have the electronics and basically be able to put a cell phone, not in your hand, but in your body, in your head. And you just be hooked up to the internet all the time. And you could be like, brain search Google, and you don't need the keyboard. And they're like, it's for your convenience. And they sell it for all these feature functionality benefits. But then if you look at the flip side, just as you did, and said, there's a big downside to that. How would you know which are your thoughts and which are the thoughts coming from Big Brother? Can you imagine Orwell's 1984 and Winston had a brain chip, and brain chip's like, hey, he's writing in his diary, come get him. You know, hey, he's hiding beside the telescreen, come get him. Like all those rules that Winston broke in the book, you couldn't break those. You had a brain chip. So they have the totalitarian technocracy transhumanist side. They've been trying to figure out command and control of the human being. So they can do that through psychology. They can do that through stimulus. They can do it through implants, and they can do it through DNA manipulation. They're working in all these areas, not to like extend our lives or to make our health better or to help us heal or to help us live and survive and thrive, but basically so that they can set themselves apart from us and then excise us like we're some unneeded appendage, some vestigial thing from the past that they no longer need for their future to manifest. And if they merge with machines and computers, and like, you know, I don't want to fight robots like Terminator. I thought Terminator was supposed to be a warning to humanity. Like, hey, look down the road. If you guys keep taking actions just because you can doesn't mean you should. And you know, here's the movie. It's supposed to scare you. And these people are like, Skynet would be pretty cool. We could get that hooked up in like 10 years, right? And then they got the Boston Dynamics robot. So one could see all these things and say, oh, this is all going on and I have no control over it. And that's very concerning. But the only problem is that we're not all on the same page, that it's not cool. Then, you know, they show these robots and they're going to rescue people from buildings and stuff like that. It's like, okay, what's the flip side? What else are they all? Oh, there's a turret on there. What do you need a turret for? Fire robot.
And the history of,
you know, and so the other aspect is, by the 21st century, people thought we'd have like flying cars and jetpacks and stuff like that, right? Well, we do. You guys know we have jetpacks, right? You guys have jetpacks. Oh, wait. No, you have to be a firefighter in Dubai and you get jetpacks. Because if you have to go up to the top of the Burj to save some rich people, they have jetpacks for their firefighters. You know what else they got over there? They got flying cars. They got stuff that flies around, and police force has, you know, $2 million supercars and stuff. So there is an aspect of humanity that has access to these technologies. But in the 50s and the 60s, you know, when I grew up in the 70s and 80s, it was promised to everybody in the future, hey, all these technologies are going to give you convenience and make your life great. And they didn't tell us it only for the World Economic Forum, only for those who comply and work to the plan for the Great Reset. Otherwise, you're going to be like, oh, sorry, you lost your job, you lost your income, you lost your way of life, you lost your house, you lost your family. Sorry, you didn't support the status quo.
Yeah,
And they're asking people to
didn't
make
want
harder and
tell.
harder decisions. Go ahead.
Yeah, they didn't want to tell them because if they told them their actual reason, they wouldn't work for them and work for free for them.
And what does that tell
build up
people like me and you?
currency. That the system is very corrupt.
Well, that they know they're corrupt. Otherwise, they would just tell us and think it's a great idea without hiding all the other stuff behind it, right?
Mhm.
If they're like, look, everybody, we know free will is an affliction that we all share, and here's how to get rid of it, and everybody into the machine. But that's not how it is. A lot of people will be like, whoa, you're a little crazy. How about you go in the machine and we'll pull the plug, you know?
Yeah.
So the first part is, I know it sometimes can be like alarming or concerning to hear some of these things, but look at it like this, because this is how it is. The most concerning part was the part of your life where all these things are going on and you had no clue. You were nescient. You could have just bumped into any of these things without knowing. Now, at least you can be a little bit more cautious, a little less, deer in the headlights, or not, just like the Bambi, big eyes, and like, oh, you're just overwhelmed by this thing. You can squint a little bit more and discern what's going on. You can be a more savvy character in this play instead of the unwitting, maybe, not such great things happen to you character.
Yeah.
And they want us all to be like the stumbling, bumbling fools so that they can be the heroes. They think of them, they are the superheroes in this, right? Bill Gates and all those guys, they did the Super Rich Friends video, and it's dun, 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 like we were watching Super Friends cartoons or something. It's like, oh, the billionaires are getting together to fight world hunger.
Yeah.
Okay.
They cause the problems, they give you the solution. That's pretty much what they do.
Yeah. And they're going to continue doing that until we say, maybe we should make our own solutions so that they can't cause problems. Yeah. And that solution can just be like withdrawing our consent from their actions, because they do a bunch of things. Small group of people, whether it's a local government, state government, non-governmental actors like, Ford Foundation, Carnegie Foundation, they're doing all these things because they have the consent of a large group of people. Well, maybe we should just get a bigger group of people together that consent to like freedom instead of slavery, and let that all trickle down to how these companies and other organizations do business.
Yeah.
To be more savvy consumers, to take them serious. Caveat emptor. Okay. We're going to be consumers with a higher level of intellectual self-defense, with greater insight into your marketing, into your NLP and propaganda and hypnotism skills and stuff. And we're going to see through that stuff to find out you guys aren't telling us the truth because you're lying, and you're not telling us that because you know what you're doing is wrong. Yeah. Otherwise, they'd just brag about it real loud. So does that address at least like the root cause of your concern and start to spray some fire extinguisher on that smoldering pile of thought?
Yep. Yeah.
Well, thank you for having the courage to voice that concern, because I'm sure you're not the only one who heard that part about like they have plans for more stuff inside us than they've already offered.
Yeah. I saw a TV show where they already put like the idea of putting like you're the computer already. Yeah. In fact, called Years and Years. That's the TV show.
I'm pretty sure there's a whole bunch of X-Files episodes on similar topics. So that goes back to Peter's earlier work, making that visible to the public.
Everyone's doing some kind of self-help these days, and you can find a million self-help courses out there. Most other courses out there are hosting lectures. They're hosting videos, they're maybe even doing Q&As, and these are great starting points to encourage learning. But at AUTONOMY, we believe that hands-on practice is the best way to really lock in what we're learning. There's no better way to gain confidence and mastery than through action. After each lecture, we practice the concepts we've learned with other students, giving and receiving feedback in a non-judgmental environment. The result is mastery of concepts like entrepreneurship, ethical sales, and self-reliance in an environment that directly translates to the real world. Plus, you make connections with other like-minded individuals who are learning right alongside you, and you have a lifetime membership in the community. The AUTONOMY course with Richard Grove equips you with confidence, competence, and courage in a world filled with confusion and noise. You can learn more at getautonomy.info. We'll see you there.